Figured that'd go out a lot quicker.
Oh, I didn't cut the end of the cap
Yeah,
off. Yeah,
exactly.
there we go. I'll edit that out too.
I asked it too. And
You did. I thought you meant did I cut the opening in the little deal on there. Good morning, guys. It's Cody, and I got Nathan here from Kirby Smith Machinery, and he's a service tech.
Yes, sir.
Field service. So how long have you been with Kirby Smith?
I've been with them for about 6 years.
6 years. So, and all you do is just work on servicing equipment and fixing broke stuff, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So he's here today. I've never owned a track loader before, so I thought who better than an expert to come out and give us. We've got our 50-hour break-in service. It's time for that. And I thought who better than a professional like Nathan to come out and take a look at it and go over it with this first service. This is something anybody can do on their own, right? I mean, yes, servicing this equipment. But I want to be sure that I don't miss anything, that I need to be paying attention. You know, we've got our service manual, our owner's manual and all that, and you'd like to think you're going to read it and take care of it and do what you're supposed to, and we have, but I want to be sure we don't miss anything. So Nathan came out today. And we're going to see if we can get this baby serviced. So the first thing, I asked Nathan what's the first thing he needs to do when he gets here and he takes a look at these pieces of equipment, and you told him you do a 4-point inspection, right? Or 4 corners.
4 corners. I take pictures of everything, make sure that there's no damage, and it's just a visual inspection of everything. I mean, you're just looking for any little leaks, damage, oil on the ground, blown hoses, popped hoses. You check the oil before you even start the machine, and you just cover yourself so that way you don't cause any more damage to it.
So, like Nathan said, just now if you're an owner operator and you're around your piece of equipment every day, you're going to know where your leaks are at, you're going to know where your issues are. But if you're not, you know, taking the time to just do a once around, walk all the way around the machine, hit all 4 corners and take a look to see, hey, here's an item that needs to be addressed, you know, or not. So that's the first thing he does. And now we went ahead and pulled in the shop. So Clancy and I spent a little time. I'm going to set you guys down over here. Clancy and I spent a little time yesterday cleaning up the shop so that we could get the machine in here. And Nathan said that the first thing we're going to do now is we're going to crank it and let it run for a little bit, get kind of warmed up, not just get everything flowing good. And then we'll kill the machine. Then we're going to raise the cab up. And
all the filters that's in there, and then drop the belly pans.
I got to put those belly pans on, if you saw the video, probably before this one, when we were in the plant in South Carolina. So I might roll. There's probably not quite as much room between my floor and the shop floor in the plant to get under there, so we might send Clarence under there when he finally gets through eating his breakfast. But we'll drop the belly pans, and I'm really excited to show you guys underneath the cab here what it looks like, and show you a lot of the nice features about these Takeuchis and why we chose them. So, all right, we're going to get started. Okay, so we've got the machine cranked up, got it warmed up, but now we're gonna go ahead and raise the arms up on it and pin them so that we can get to the cab and do the cab work. So I'm going to come right over here. Let's see there. Where are you at, baby? Okay. Go on up with it. Oh. Maybe tilt your. There we go. Now see if we can go on up. Do what? Okay? So here on the arm right here is there's this little bracket right here, and that's what keeps the arm held up for you. So it's flat on one side and concaved on the other, so the concave part matches with what's on the loader arm there, and then it's got a pin here to hold that in. So that's got us held up there. The next step is going to be to take the cab, to open up the cab so that we can get underneath here. So I'm going to show y'all how simple this is. Here in the cab, you've got two bolts, one right here, one right over here. You pull those babies loose and it's ready to go, right? All right.
24, I think. Yep.
Got it ready?
Yes, sir. Now we got another lock here, right here in the back.
Okay. So Nathan's going to lock that one down for us. So let's take a look underneath the hood here. This is the floorboard right here where your feet go. So you've got just these stobs, you just rest, feet rest. This is an accelerator. You can idle the engine up and down. And then right here, this is the whole underside. So this engine runs front and back, not side to side. You've got, this is your hydraulic fluid reservoir, correct?
Yes, sir.
Right over here.
That's hydraulics, and then this is your fuel.
Fuel tank here.
Got your fuel filters, your primary and your secondary, your engine oil filter, your hydraulic high pressure filter, and your tank filter that's inside of there, your vent, and that's your diesel exhaust, your DPF, diesel particulate filter.
Thank you, EPA, for making that for us. That's sarcasm if y'all didn't know it. So I asked Nathan here, Nathan, what you do this for a living? You work on not only maintaining the part of Kirby Smith's rental fleet of Takeuchi equipment, but they carry lots of other brands too. And so you work on all kinds of different stuff, not just Takeuchi. So
Yes, sir.
What's the number one thing you see as far as maintenance that people miss and don't do?
Grease.
Grease, he says. So
Those grease worms, they'll get the pins and eat them out.
So just not greasing your equipment. And that's one of the things that it takes a little time to go around and grease stuff, but it saves you time and money in the long run if you'll just do that little bit of maintenance. These machines, there's certain parts on them that are supposed to be greased every 8 hours, right? I mean,
Yeah,
so
it's a once a day thing.
once a day if you're using it a bunch, you know. So Takeuchi's made it pretty easy because everywhere that you're supposed to grease, it's got a yellow paint on it, with the exception of there's one or two pins, I mean little deals that are inside that you can't see as easily that don't have yellow paint on them, like right here. This grease zerk right here, I mean it doesn't have yellow paint on it, but pretty much you need to think in your mind, anything that's moving, it's probably got a grease zerk on it somewhere.
Yes, sir.
For the most part, not everything, but all right, well, Nathan's got other stuff to do today besides jack with me and my camera, so I'm going to set y'all down over here and we're going to just get to work and see what we can get done. This looks like a good spot for you guys right here.
Speaking of grease guns, I'll go grab mine out real quick. It's a little buried, but
I got one right here if you want to use it.
that'll work.
It's ready to go.
I got the same one.
That way we don't have to drag it out. So this machine's not too dirty right now. I mean, like I said, we've only got about 50 hours on it, and we haven't done any mulching, done a little bit of shredding and stuff like that. So there's not a lot of buildup or anything down here in the belly pan when we look down in there. But
This is some cut grass, but we'll go ahead and clean it out.
that's one of the things, guys, you want to be sure is if you don't keep this part in here cleaned up real good, you know, take the time to blow it out ever so often and clean it out, you're just going to build up dry matter in here where things get hot, and that's a good chance to start you a fire. So you want to be sure and take care of that. One of the other things, look back here, is making sure that you keep your air filters and everything cleaned out and to keep your radiators blown out. So it's basically, is it 1 or 2 bolts back here? 2 bolts.
2 bolts right here and here.
Here and here, you take those out, and then this radiator swings open. You just want to be careful that you don't jerk any hoses or pinch anything, but it gets it where it's pretty serviceable, so you can, that's one of the pillars, Takeuchi's 4 pillars is serviceability, so they try to make everything as easy as they can to service. So for 50 hours, does it look very bad? Looking all right?
Doesn't look bad at all.
All right. So we're going to get this where we can blow it out.
Yes, sir. We're going to go ahead and blow out the radiators. Also, we're going to go ahead and check the belts in there. Your AC compressor belt, and then your alternator belt. Basically, we got to go ahead and make sure that they're keeping adjustment. So
Just check the tension on them and everything.
yeah, we'll just be taking this cover off and making sure your compressor's not squalling at you.
All right, Clance, this is Nathan.
Hey, how you going?
You can go ahead and feed your stuff if you want to. Okay. So Nathan, is this the only belly pan you take off, or do you get the further ones up there too?
That's the only one that I got to take off there.
Okay.
That little hose that's been sitting on top of the cab. That's what you use to drain your oil. So I'll make it a little bit dirty, but put it in your toolbox so that we don't keep the cab all dirty.
Gotcha.
So you don't lose it.
So that was in the cab, you said?
Yes, sir. It was just hanging right up there.
Right.
Just really easy to get to, and it's
So
like
you-
a little quick disconnect fitting or a one-way check valve. You go ahead and screw that into the engine oil pan, and oil starts leaking out of it.
Gotcha. And where does that hook on at?
Yeah.
Through that belly pan?
Yeah, it hooks on right down here if you want to come and take a look.
All right, let's go. The belly pan had a little dirt on it, not too bad. Not like some of them. Okay, let me see if we can get that. All right, guys, this may be you may not be able to see this, but let me see here. Right here. So right here underneath.
Just take this little screw off and put this guy in there. And then oil will start dripping out, but I need to get an oil pan
I
first.
need to get an oil pan. All right. Good thinking. So out in the field when you're doing this, Nathan, you keep one of them old political ad signs in the back of your truck to lay on and all that, make it easier.
Nah, I just use cardboard.
Just use cardboard. Man, I might hook you up today then. I want to change your life.
There comes oil.
There comes oil, yeah.
And then while that's draining, go ahead and change the filters.
That stuff ain't even burnt yet.
No, it's still pretty clear. Oh,
Oh, we gotta get a sample.
yep.
And you test that here?
No, sir. We send it into the lab. They'll look for anything unexpected that they're not expecting to look for on the 50-hour break-in.
Okay.
Because I mean, everything's going to be elevated, but oil samples, you're looking for any steel or any abnormal wear items that's in
Gotcha.
there, apart from the oil.
So occasionally, I mean, I know a lot of guys are do-it-yourselfers like I am and want to save that little bit of money. I mean, I don't know what a service call like this would cost if somebody just called and said, "Hey, would you?" And I guess is that something you guys at Kirby Smith do? Like if somebody just called and said, "Hey, I've got a machine over here that I bought from somebody else. do y'all just go and do service work like that too, or is it mainly just on?
We also do service work on that. Typically, it's a little cheaper to do it yourself, so there's not a lot of people that do it. But on the equipment that we do, that we send our oilers out to do it, they're taking oil samples of every single oil that they change.
Okay. So occasionally you might want to just, even if you're the do-it-yourselfer guy, I'm sure you could take an oil sample and send it in. I'm sure there are places that'll do that, but that's kind of the benefit of using professionals occasionally, is that they're going to do stuff that you probably wouldn't normally do at home. Most guys I know aren't going to take an oil sample and send it in to make sure there's no, catch something before it ruins something, so to speak. So, okay, let's go up here. Nathan said we're going to change some filters now, so let's see if we can give you all a good view somewhere that's kind of out of the way. So we've got a primary and a secondary fuel filter on this machine. Is that kind of standard? Do most other machines have two fuel filters on them?
Yes, sir. I mean, you got these. You have your fuel water separator back here, real easy to get to, real easy to see, and then your primary filter that's separating anything that's bigger than 10 microns. Then your secondary filter, or I guess your primary filter, that's filtering it down even further, down to, let's say, 1 or 2 microns. And so it's real clean diesel getting to that pump.
Okay, Erica, we had to do a battery change because your SD card was completely full. So go to the other camera, Osmo 1. Its SD card's got the other part of this on there. So, all right, so it's time to change oil and fuel filters. Are we going to change this little hydraulic filter today?
We're going to change this filter here, and then one of the filters that's in there.
In here.
That's the main hydraulic filter, and then this is your return oil filter. LF. Okay, so it's your high pressure oil filter going to your attachment.
Okay. So is that the high flow side of it, or is it just the pressure side of your attachments?
Well, it's the high flow side of it, because you have your HST pump here. That's your hydrostatic. Your left and your right pump, your left pump and then your right pump. Then your work equipment, and then your attachment pump. And this little gear pump in here, that's where you get your high flow. So it's all stacked on top of each other.
Gotcha. So if you didn't have high flow, it wouldn't have?
It'd be missing one pump off the stack. So this pump here wouldn't be here. It would just be these two.
Okay. So we're going to use 15W40.
LA, low ash.
Low ash? What's that mean?
Low ash, it's these newer engines, they're running higher pressures on the fuel pumps. And so you got to have low ash so you don't get as much soot going through there. It also, if there's a lot of ash in there, it'll set up your DPF. So you don't want to grab just any regular old 15W40 and throw it in a diesel nowadays.
Okay, so remember that, guys, low ash. Always put a little oil on your O-ring there, I don't guess that's really an O-ring, but whatever you call it.
Yeah, it's a gasket.
Gasket.
Got it there. Where to put the cap at? Throw a couple rags down in there.
Need the bigger one?
No, I think this will work. There it goes. Now today is the 3rd, right?
Close enough. You're putting the date. What else should you put on there?
Putting the date, the hours, and then the company that we're with, Irby Smith Machinery Incorporated. And this is so you can, if you don't know when the last time you checked the oil was, or changed the oil was, you didn't write it down nowhere, you can look at your filters and you can see It got changed on October 3rd, 2024 at 50 hours. And so if you don't have records, or if you don't keep records, you can always look at the machine and visually verify that the oil was changed at 50 hours or whatever service you got on it.
Awesome.
Something I do on all the filters that I change. Plus it helps from a mechanic standpoint because we can see how many hours is on the oil, and if we can see if for instance, if that engine isn't starting and the fuel filter's got 2,000 hours on them, before we start thinking about changing the pump or injectors or anything major, we'll just spin all new filters and hopefully that'll fix it.
Gotcha.
I like to use the KISS method when it comes to repairing stuff. Keep it simple.
Got it.
That's usually, stick with that. 99% of the problems, that's something stupid going on.
So this, if you don't know, Kubota is the manufacturer of the engine for this piece of machinery. And I noticed when Nathan was putting the filter on, he put on a Kubota filter. This is this the hydraulic filter?
Yes, sir. That's the one that's going to go down in here.
And you notice this is the Takeuchi brand. Do you think it's important to use the manufacturer's brand filters and stuff when possible?
I think it's important, especially if it's a warranty machine. It helps you say, look, this is the parts that you want on it. It got the correct filters on it. And I mean, you can get filters from anywhere, but if it's a machine that has a warranty or anything like that, personally, I'd like to put the OEM stuff on it. So that way, in case anything fails, there's nothing they can say against you.
Right. I mean, most companies, and I think Takeuchi is one of the ones that they're going to look for any way they can to help you. But if you're not doing your maintenance, or if you're buying your oil and fuel filters and stuff out of the back of some van in the Target parking lot, there's probably something wrong with that. I mean, it's, and if you look at it, I know what some of you are going to say, that just because the manufacturer made it doesn't mean that it's a better quality filter or anything. And that may be true, but if you're putting on the stuff that they recommend, like Nathan said, there's no argument when you get back to it about, hey, what filters are you putting on it? Well, I'm putting these right here, the ones that y'all said to put on there. So it just takes a little bit of argument and fight out any of that if you ever have a warranty issue. So if it's out of warranty, do whatever you want to. Don't even change them if you don't care. Don't bother me none. I'm going to change mine, but you don't have to change yours. They'd love for you to do that, because then you blow your machine up or burn it up and then you get to go buy another one. All right, so got her in right there. 10-3 of 24, 50 hours. So one of the things that Nathan has suggested that we go ahead and do is to change the fluid in the final drives. Explain to the people at home, I mean, you hear the term final drive a lot, but what is that?
Yeah, it's a planetary. That's the final part of the powertrain that's driving that machine forward or backward. So it's the final drive. It's the final part that's powered. And so that's at the end of the day. That's where the engine's putting the power to the ground.
Okay.
So it's a planetary that's moving that machine. It's moving the track that's moving that machine.
All right. So Nathan, being the expert that he is, look how he did this. He just drove her right in here, and it happened to land just right. So this is your final drive here. So you've got a drain plug, a fill plug, and then this is your level, right?
Yes, sir. That's your check plug.
Drain, fill, and check. So and the easy way to tell that is when you look right here on the numbers on it. If they're up and down where you can read them the right direction, then you know you got it set in the right way. Or just, I mean, obviously you wouldn't only put this, if it was the other way, I mean, you're going to need more fluid in it than just, that much. So so Clance is going to get started. He's going to pull this out right here, drain it into a bucket, and then we're going to go ahead and refill it. Now this doesn't have to be done. I think think about, but every like 250 hours. But like Nathan said, oil and stuff is cheap, so you might as well do it now. Why is that not focusing on everybody? Oil's cheap, so why not do it now while we're here? And so Clance is going to get started on that. He's going to get him a bucket and get started. So just you got her started. Well, hang on, I think Nathan's going to pull this hydraulic filter out, and then you'll be ready.
I'll need a bucket.
Parts door.
That's pretty neat.
It's a flexa filter, I think is what we call it.
Point the end down. There you go. Got it easing out of there. Might crack one of those. Crack that one open.
Go grab that off. Hold this. It's pretty hard. Which one?
No, either one of them. Just lets the air in there so it'll drain. Pretty tight, huh? Just paint it on.
Do a little sample out of there real quick.
Oh, yeah. So why did it do that?
Because now it's floating there. And
Now it can breathe. It can pull in air instead of creating that suction. And then we're going to put in some synthetic 75W90 gear oil in there. About through running.
really.
Alright, I'm going to squirt a little in here.
Did you cut it?
I opened it.
Figured that'd go out a lot quicker.
Oh, I didn't cut the end of the cap
Yeah,
off. Yeah,
exactly.
there we go. I'll edit that out too.
I asked it too. And
You did. I thought you meant did I cut the opening in the little deal on there.
Yeah. A lot faster.
Is it running clear yet?
It's pretty clear now.
Let's put just a little bit in it. All right, put your cap back in. This one right here. Yep. Just. And you said about 1.5 quarts?
Yes, sir. Until it starts coming out of the check plug there.
How long does it normally take you to service one if nobody's jacking with you?
Maybe an hour. I mean, it's the hardest part's the finals. I mean, everything else is just, you saw how quick it was to change the engine oil filter and fuel filter and I mean, the hydraulic oil filter and all that, it doesn't take very long at all.
You said this is the hardest part, just getting it lined up just right, having to get in and out a bunch to.
Typically what I'll do is I'll take my magnet and I'll leave it on the side of it so that way I can see it, the very tip of it on out of the corner of my eye when I'm looking through the window, and I'll watch that magnet go down and then up to get to the spot that I want it to.
Okay.
Of course, the second set of eyes also helps.
Makes it easy, yeah.
Take it out and let the spirit out.
All right, guys, so we've got everything changed so far. We've got this hydraulic filter changed, the one that goes inside the tank itself. Changed the oil filter back there. Are we changing fuel filters today?
No, sir.
No, sir. Okay, when do we change the fuel filters?
Should be at 500 hours.
500 hours. Okay, so
change the engine oil.
we're only at 50, so we're going to leave them like they are. Back here at the back, we've already closed it up because we're fixing to lower everything down. We've topped it off with oil, cranked it, and made sure everything was good. The only thing we have left to do is we're going to put the cab back down, lower the arms down, and we're going to back up just a little bit so we can drain the final drive here on the left-hand side, and then we're going to back the machine out here on the driveway back here, and we'll go ahead and open the back end back up and blow the radiator and everything out, and then we're also going to jump in there and pull the cabin air filter out and blow it out real quick. So, all right, guys. So we got the old top pulled out here. We're fixing to we're going to swing the radiator out and blow it out real good. You don't want to do that with the motor running because, I mean, this one's pretty easy. I mean, you don't have to worry about really getting your hoses in there and hitting your fan and tearing anything up. But on some models, plus you don't want to do it while it's running. So just Clance is going to jump on that air hose and start blowing it out here in a minute. Probably not him because he'll get where he can't breathe. And we're going to blow all this stuff out in here too. So I posed a question on social media the other day about what is the most overlooked maintenance item on equipment. Majority of the answer was grease. They don't get greased enough. Second thing that was said was they don't get blowed out like they ought to be, meaning the air filters, the radiators, the belly fans, and that's what Nathan is doing right now. Well, guys, that's going to close out the video for today. Huge shout out to Nathan and Kirby Smith for coming by and helping us with our first service. So, like Nathan said earlier, it may not be in the video earlier, but they work on their own fleet of rental equipment, but also if you just got broke down equipment, you can give Kirby Smith a call. Y'all are in Texas, Oklahoma, Missouri, maybe?
Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, and couple states north of Oklahoma.
Anyway, he's
Texas.
Y'all, if check out Kirby Smith close to you, look him up, and you can find a location close to you. You can buy new equipment. You can buy Takeuchi's there, and or you can get service to come out and take a look at it and check on work on your broke stuff for you. Nathan, thanks for coming by today and showing us the ropes on making sure we get this thing serviced right. So now we shouldn't need another service till about the 250 mark, right? 250 hours?
I think 250.
I'll check the manual to make sure, but this is kind of like Clancy's old square body over here. We're supposed to put about 500 miles on it before we do the first service on it, and it's getting pretty close to that. So you're just getting all the break-in fluids and everything swapped out, the oil and stuff changed out, and then you're going to send off all the oils, and if there's anything major comes back, you'll just holler at us and let us know, hey, there's something going on. But
yeah.
So as much as I've enjoyed talking to you today, I hope you don't call me back saying something about our oil other than just to call and talk and have a good time. So, all right, guys, thank y'all for watching. Be sure and like and subscribe. Y'all keep wrenching, ranching, and praying, and we'll see you later.